So my name's Ryan Stewart and I'm playing the role of Luke in Whatever Happened to Jeremy Baxter.
Hi, I'm playing Jeremy Baxter. My name's Ben Ronec.
I'm Bayne and I'm playing Marty.
My name is Jeffrey Bryant Jones and I play Ethan Baxter.
Whatever Happened to Jeremy Baxter is intriguing and I'd say a real pressure cooker.
The show is a mixture of family, love, friendship.
A masculine power play.
A very diverse shift in personalities and changes of character traits throughout the play because a lot of things actually end up happening.
Intriguing, twisting, writhing, riveting power.
Luke comes from a pretty troubled background, hasn't had really much stability in his life. He's just really looking for someone, people he can trust, and looking to set a life up for himself where he can sort of pave a new path for himself.
My character is very self-centered. He's very privileged. He lives in a very great family in the sense of financial security and safety. But Jeremy, as a whole, is just someone that you can't really quite put your finger on.
Marty is a victim of circumstance who does some pretty horrible things in order to survive. Marty's come from a pretty poverty-stricken background and from a world where he has to do what he can in order to survive, even though he doesn't quite like what he has to do to get to there. But he knows that in order to secure his survival, he has to do these things.
Ethan is a self-made man. He's a multi-millionaire. He can be warm and caring, and he can also be quite ruthless, and he certainly knows how to seal a deal. So he will do whatever it takes to get what he wants.
What attracted me to playing Luke is that I haven't really played a role like him before. He has, like I said, he has quite a challenging background, which has given me a lot of work to sort of look into and map out his past.
Jeremy is an interesting one because he changes a lot throughout the play, and I don't necessarily want to always be sticking to the same storyline or the same, same stillness or anything throughout scenes. It always is a dynamic shift, and it is always so great to see how a character changes, and because he goes through so much throughout the play, it's just so fun to see how he develops and how his friends and how his family get involved, and it's an ever whirling, it's events always just going around, and you'll just always find something to pick about Jeremy that you just would never expect.
Marty, he's a very intriguing character. He's the kind of character where at first glance he appears to just be on the sideline watching, but then as you get further and further into the meat of the play, you start to see what's actually going on behind there, and you start to see that there's some really fascinating things going on there, and I think it could be a real challenge for me to bring that out and portray that, and I'm really excited to do that.
I was attracted to playing the character because it's a challenge for me. It's a real challenge to look at his background and also look at his motivations for what he wants. I can tap into a lot of the emotions that he displays fairly easily, but not to because I share similar emotions, but not to that level. So it's a challenge for me to be able to tap into them and also to express those emotions.
How is this character like me or different to me? Marty it's actually quite scary how similar he is to me. He's very pedantic about following rules, about writing structures, following plans, things like that, and he's terrible at improvisation, and all of that is exactly like me right now. I need to always have a plan. I need to always follow steps. I need to always have a direction that I'm going in, and if I get thrown into the deep end, I sometimes tend to panic, and not trust the world around me. So I think it's quite scary how similar he is to me there. So it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds on stage.
I'd say he's quite different to me. He is very quick to trust people because that's something that he looks for, which I think actually says more about me than it says about Luke. He's quite temperamental and aggressive. He's got a short fuse, which some people I think would say that's quite like me. But I like to think that I can control my temperament a bit more than he can.
He's like me in some ways. He's definitely grown up in a great family. In the terms of he's got safety. He's got a safety net. He's also really motivated. He's got an eye for what looks good. He's a perfectionist, and he's a planner. So I'd like to say that I'm quite a bit like that. He's very self-centered, not so much like me, but he's just one of those people that have been brought up in a really wealthy setting, and it's gone a bit to his head.
Bit scarily, we are kind of alike. And we're also quite different at the same time. I think in terms of the character, we're both methodical, we're both hardworking, and we both aim to achieve goals in life. I think in differences, he's rich and I'm not, and I think he'll also walk over people to get what he wants, and I won't do that. So,
what I'm looking forward to the most in the show is that there's a lot of scenes that will require some quite detailed choreography, and I'm sort of looking forward to getting into that with the other actors. And yeah, that's something I haven't really explored too much in shows and work that I've done in the past.
I'm looking forward to working with my cast members and being able to put on a show that is so different to anything that I've heard of before, because the show itself is going to be able to explore so many issues and in society itself and the world around us, and things that maybe you don't hear of as often. And we're working in a theatre that's so intimate, you'll be able to have a really great eye at what you see, and you'll be able to really analyse the whole situation and the whole storyline. So it's just really, really exciting to be able to put this in front of an audience and see what they gain from it.
What am I looking forward to the most? I think I'm most looking forward to the intimate nature of the show, actually. A lot of the shows that I've done have been very, for want of a better word, they've been very theatrical. They've been very big and grand, and because of that, there's been, I guess, a big disconnect between the audience and the characters. But because this is in such a tight, confined space where we'll be right up in the audience's faces, it'll be really cool, I think, to see how that plays out and to see how the energy will be in each show.
I'm looking forward to working with Fred again. I was in the last show, Michael and Philip Getting Married in the Morning, which was fantastic, a great experience, a really supportive company, and it was a lot of fun. Also looking forward to working with with Wayne again, and with the producers, and also with this fantastic cast. It's a really strong cast.
What I hope the audience takes away from the show is an understanding that I think in recent times, in media and everything, there's a lot of discussion about masculinity and its place in society today and the issues that we have around it. And I guess what I want people to take from it is that it's not just reserved for straight white men. It's an issue that is pretty pertinent to the gay community, and it's really linked to a lot of old ideas of class and money that still has a run-on effect these days.
I'm hoping they take away the sense of this is something different, this is something that maybe hasn't been explored so much, and maybe opening their minds a little bit to different types of stories and theatre and relationships and the gay themes and all of that aren't explored so much in modern theatre. So I'm really excited to be able to share, stories that I have been privy to, be surrounded with in my friendship groups and stuff, and be able to hopefully translate them in some way through this character.
I hope the audience will see a new perspective about why people do some of the horrible things that they do. So instead of just seeing the terrible action that someone does, the crime or the mistake or whatever, they'll see beyond that and see, well, actually, they did that because they've been conditioned to do it by society, or because they thought that there was no way out, or because they didn't trust themselves enough to take another path, or they were forced down this route. And I think that'll be really interesting to see how people's reactions to that would be.
First of all, I hope they get drawn into the show, and I hope they're, you know, kind of like surprised by the twists and turns that this show has, you know, and because it seems like you think you know where it's going, and then all of a sudden it'll twist, and then it'll go somewhere else, and so I think hopefully it'll keep the audience on their toes. I hope they take away. I hope they're entertained by it, and that they think about, you know, some of the themes of the play.
What happened to Jeremy Baxter is what happens when you don't play by the rules.
What happened to Jeremy Baxter? Well, I'm afraid I couldn't say, or else Wayne might make me disappear as well.
You'll see. You know, you just have to come watch the show, and you'll see. Whatever happens to Jeremy Baxter it's definitely something to watch, because the ending especially isn't something you'd never expect.
Think about it. Think about everything you know to be true.